What's going on, everybody? It's Joel here, and today we're taking a look at some of the new products from the brand Abmat. All right, so I think most of you guys don't need any kind of introduction to the name Abmat. Their products have been in CrossFit gyms pretty much since the beginning of time, and the standard CrossFit sit-up is now pretty much always the Abmat sit-up. And if you guys are unfamiliar with what an Abmat is or what it does, is it basically is this wedge that you lay on top of when you do sit-ups. It fits in the small of your back, so you put the fat part in the small of your back, and then you do sit-ups, and it just helps you get a little bit more range of motion when you do your sit-ups, and it has become like a more beneficial sit-up, or it has been proven to be a more beneficial sit-up than just your standard sit-up. But anyways, this one that I have in front of me is their newest version of the Abmat, which is completely made out of a closed cell foam that is moisture resistant and has pretty much like a springy feel to it. The old Abmats were basically a piece of foam that was covered in a like nylon cover, and then they were fine and they work well, but the problem about those is that they do flatten out over time, and then the outer shell does tend to rip over time. With something like this, you never have to worry about it. It always retains its shape. It's moisture resistant, so it's easy to clean off, and it has a little bit more spring and rebound if you wanted to use this for like handstand push-ups, because these are also like dual purpose. You use them for handstand push-ups as well as Abmat sit-ups. So this Abmat is their newest version. It retails for $30, and I mean, it's pretty much a no-brainer. If you had to stock up an affiliate with Abmats, you would just go with these ones just because they're better than your standard Abmats. If you were like thinking about upgrading your Abmats in your affiliate, I'd say you probably don't need to. I think the old Abmats work just fine still. But if you were replacing some that you had that were maybe deteriorated or broken down, then yeah, I would definitely go with the new closed cell foam Abmat. All right, guys, so this is the Abmat Ploybox that is made for them by Ploybox. And the unique thing about this Ploybox is that it still maintains a wooden construction, but it has foam around the edges of it so that it's a little bit more of a safe option. Now, you could use a standard wood Ploybox, but we all know the perils of using wood Ployboxes. You tag your shin on the corner, one missed box jump, and you're gonna have a nice racing stripe down your shin. And then there's also the soft Ploybox options, which are basically a hard box that are completely covered in foam, and then they have like a vinyl or PVC coating or outer shell to them. And those can range anywhere from like 15 pounds all the way up to like 75 pounds. And the 15-pound options are just way too unstable to jump on. And then the heavier options, they're a pain to move around. And while they're good for like jumping, you can't really do any kind of dumbbell box step overs because then they just become too unstable because of the complete foam outer shell. With the Abmat Ploybox, you alleviate pretty much all of the issues that you would normally have with a soft Ploybox. You get a very stable box because it's still made of wood. It still has this flat 6 sides. There are some screws to the faces, but the screws are indented into the box so that they don't make the box unstable or wobbly or anything. And then the only parts around the box that might be unstable are the lips. And you're never really gonna be stepping on the lip. It's just there so that if you were potentially to miss a box jump, you wouldn't get a racing stripe down your shin. Now, I will say that even though the foam is a little bit softer, it's still probably gonna hurt if you eat it on top of this box. But I think the added benefit of stability, because it is made from wood, it still does have an inner frame to it that you're gonna have to attach when you put it all together. This box, to me, is the best combination of having a stable box that is also safe at the same time. And not to mention, it's very, very easy to still move this around the gym. The box itself is only about 45 pounds, and it has handles on both top and bottom, so no matter which way you grab this box, it's still gonna be something that you can move around pretty easily in comparison to like some of the heavier soft boxes that are like 75 pounds have no handles, so you're just kind of flipping those around to get to one place to another. So this box only comes in the standard configuration of 20, 24, and 30 inches, and pretty much any height that I've put it on, it's still rock solid stable. I've stacked some plates on it, did some 36-inch box jumps on it. I had no issues with stability. Did dumbbell box step overs, which are notorious for making boxes unstable. And the only reason why you would want a wooden box nowadays is pretty much for dumbbell box step overs. And it was rock solid. I thought initially that the edges, since they're a little bit more round than normal, they would create a little bit of instability, but that was never a problem in my experience with this box. Now, I will say that when you are box jump rebounding, you will have to land a little bit further on top of the box, because if you land on the edge, it is rounded quite a bit, so you will kind of teeter-totter if you're like jumping towards the edge of the box. But if you jump a little bit further, that problem is solved. It's not really a big deal, but it is something that you do have to adjust for. So this box retails for $250. It is a little bit more expensive. Actually, it's a lot more expensive than your normal plyo box, but it runs pretty much around the same price, if not cheaper, than the best of the soft plyo boxes. And if you were to ask me which one I would take, I would go with this one any day of the week. It's stable, it's safe. The only thing that I didn't like about it is that it is kind of a pain to put together. There's a lot of screws, so I would come with an electric screwdriver when you go to put this together, but otherwise, it is the best box that I've used. This is my go-to box. People at the gym fight over it. And if I had to do it again, I would probably just stock my affiliate up with Abmat plyo boxes, because it is the safest option. It's still stable, it's versatile, it's easy to move around. And I think all of the benefits of having this weigh out the difference in price that you're paying for this box. The next thing that we're gonna take a look at is their wall ball, which is made out of pretty much the same foam as their new Abmat. So their wall ball comes in a 10, a 14, and a 20. I have the 14 and the 20, and the 14 is the most popular wall ball for the ladies right now. That is the one that everybody goes to, just because it is, and just because for the reason that I like them is they're a lot easier to use during a workout because they hold their shape. They're just a lot easier to catch when you're doing sets of wall balls, and what that leads to is bigger sets of wall balls. So if you're never really fumbling around with the ball when you catch it, then you're more efficient, you're using less energy when you're doing your wall balls, and it just makes just doing bigger sets a lot more easy to do. I mean, it's still wall ball, so for me personally, they're still hard to do, but doing bigger sets with these harder wall balls, especially the Abmat one, is much easier to do. Now, there is a texture to this wall ball, but initially there's like some shipping oil that comes on it, and it will be kind of slippery. So your first goal when getting your Abmat wall ball in is to just get it as grimy and dirty and disgusting as possible. Just like wash it with chalk, and then soon enough, it will be easier to hold, but when it is easier to hold and that shipping grease is all off of it, you will notice that you're going to be doing larger sets of wall ball. The design is actually really cool. It has the Abmat name etched into it, made in the United States, which is awesome, and then it has the weight on the side of it as well. And since this is made out of the same foam as the new Abmat, it is moisture resistant, it doesn't soak or anything. Now, since it is made out of just foam, or it's like 3 layers of foam, you can actually use this as a slam ball as well. But beware, because this thing definitely bounces a lot more than your standard wall balls, and pretty much right in line with all the new like rubber, like indestructible wall balls, which this is. I mean, if you go on Abmat's Instagram page, they like shot this thing, they put it in a car crusher thingy, and it still lived. They still did wall balls with it afterwards. So this is just as indestructible as any of those balls. Though I think, you know, it will get scratched up over time, and that's just kind of the nature with foam. But do be careful when you're doing your wall balls and you're dropping that last one, because this thing will bounce pretty high. Make sure you get your face out of the way when you're slamming it, or you just know that it's gonna return to you when you bounce it. So the 10-pound version retails for $90, the 14 is $110, and the 20-pound is $115. There is flat rate shipping on their wall balls, so that is a nice thing about them. And then you can also use my discount code AMRAP10 for another 10% off your order at abmat.com. And that works on any of the products that we talked about today. So you can use that with their wall balls, you can use that with their Abmats, you can use that with their Ploybox, and you can use that for their massage gun holder, which I forgot to bring today, but I'm just gonna talk about it right now. So basically, the massage gun holder works for your Hypervolt, and it's designed around the Hypervolt. So whether it fits in like some of the knockoff brands, I'm not real sure. If it has roughly the same shape handle as Hypervolt, it probably will fit, but I can't really say. But anyways, so this massage gun holder is basically like a half circle with some bends in it, so that you put your Hypervolt in one side, and then you can reach around, or you can use it to reach around your back and hit your back, because obviously nobody wants to hold a massage gun holder to your back for the duration of time that you're gonna wanna use it for. So it is expensive for what it is. It's like $125, but the convenience is priceless. And even though it looks ridiculous, it works really well. Like for me, I could barely get my lower traps if I'm trying to hold just a Hypervolt by itself. But if I'm using that, I can get pretty much anywhere on my back. And it doesn't just stop there. I can use it to like reach down my legs when I'm too lazy to like bend over or anything. So it's very, very convenient to have. Obviously, it's a luxury product. Like nobody really needs one, but it is an awesome thing to have around. So definitely check that out if you were looking for a must-have or almost must-have accessory for your Hypervolt. Anyways, like I said, you can use code AMRAP10 to save 10% on pretty much all the products that we talked about today: the Ploybox, the Abmat, the medicine balls, the massage gun holder. It all works for those. There is shipping from Abmat's site, but I think, you know, pretty much the code just kind of covers your shipping. If there's anything that I would say is a must-have accessory or must-have product, it would definitely be the Ploybox. I think the Ploybox is just the best in the business right now. It's the only one that I'm gonna ever use from here on out, and I think everybody should have one. Or if it's only gonna be your number one Ploybox or your only Ploybox, that is the one to get. But anyways, if you guys have any questions about any of this stuff, feel free to leave them in the comment section. And as always, guys, please hit that like button, subscribe, and thanks for watching.